Hello everyone. I know I was not active in YouTube for some time, but the reason was I was quite busy tackling my own issues in my life and I have to balance it all. But now I am back on track and I am so happy about it. So let's start chapter 3 of class 12 psychology, and it is part B. So the first topic is the effect of stress on our health. So we have to remember that stress is a silent killer. Now you may ask why the word silent killer is used, why this word is only used in the statement. So if for some reason the stress get accumulated or intensified over the course of time, it's going to abuse your body, it's going to ruin your body inside, and more or less it's going to act like how alcohol or drugs destroys your body inside. That's why the word silent killer is used. Now, stress is related to a lot of cardiovascular diseases, physical illness like diabetes, peptic ulcers, cancer, and different serious diseases. So, if for some reason you are feeling stressful for no reason, please calm down and take care of yourself. Here comes the fact that chronic daily stress can divert someone's attention from caring about themselves. So just remember, whenever you have faced a stressful situation, like it can be related to academics, it can be related to relationships. Now from the word relationship, I don't narrow down to the fact of romantic relationships, your family issues, your relative issues, your relative issues, friendship issues, they all are included in that. So you may have seen the drastic changes in your behavior, that you have started taking up a lot of sugary foods, you have started having sleeping issues, your sleeping problems, eating problems, and so on. Now then comes the word burnout. Now we have to remember that burnout is experienced when there is a physical exhaustion, there is attitudinal problem, and there is a lot of demand from environment, and you literally have no support from your family and friends. So you can say it's a kind of physical, mental, and psychological exhaustion. So the physical exhaustion is shown in the form of weakness and having low energy and chronic fatigue, whereas your psychological exhaustion is shown in the form of anxiety, irritability, hopelessness, and helplessness. Now here I have used the word attitudinal problem. I want to request you all, please don't associate attitude with something or someone who is rude or egoistic. It is a very narrow understanding of the word attitude. Attitude simply means you having a view about any kind of topic, and obviously view or attitude can be positive, negative, and neutral. So the attitude word is not associated with someone who is rude or egoistic. Please remember that. Apart from that, we have to understand that stress creates a lot of changes in our immune system, not in a good way, definitely in a bad way. Stress is related, or stress contribute to 50 to 70% of all our physical illness. This is how stress is so dangerous for us. The next topic is effects of stress on our immune system. Here comes the complex term psychoneuroimmunology. Now from the word itself we can understand psycho is related to your mind, neuro is related to your brain, and immunology. So it studies the link between our mind, brain, and immune system. In short, it tries to understand how stress affects our immune system. So we all know the word white blood cells, which we also call as leukocytes. They protect our body, they destroy foreign organism and microbes, they produce antibodies. I think a lot of you know what antibodies is, because it is a quite frequently used word in the era of coronavirus. So yes, it's produce antibodies in our body. Apart from that, there are different kinds of white blood cells. First is your T cells. Now T cells, they destroy the invaders. Invader means someone who have entered to someone else territory, obviously with that bad intention. So in case it is talking about the viruses and the foreign bodies, so the T cells, they destroy the invaders, and the T helper cell, they increase the immunological activity in our body. Now we have to remember it is the T helper cells that are attacked by the HIV virus, which then causes your AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Then comes your B cells, which produce your antibodies, and last but not the least is natural killer cells, which provide that defense to fight against both virus and tumor. Now it is seen that stress leads to reduced level of natural killer cell cytotoxicity. It is quite found with stressful people, like the students who are giving important examinations of their life, like it can be CA, it can be JEE and NEET, it can be CLAD, it can be UPSC, and the list goes on. So the stress affects more to the people whose immune system is already weakened. So if you are someone who have literally treated your body like a garbage, and you have started dumping everything inside that, definitely stress is going to have a profound effect on you as compared to someone else who takes care of their health. Okay, so please prioritize your body. Okay, apart from that, negative emotions like fear, anxiety, depression, they also they also try to weaken our immune system, and which then leads to your physical and mental issues. The next topic is about the relation between emotion, stress and health. So psychological stress definitely is associated with negative emotion and associated behavior like depression, anxiety and irritability. Now long-term stress can lead to different psychological disorders like OCD or your obsessive compulsive disorder. You are going to learn more about that in chapter 4, so don't need to get afraid about this term. So apart from that, it also leads to different kind of panic attack as well. Now worries can reach to such a level that you may mistaken it as a heart attack, like you may experience a a painful physical sensation, but it's not actually heart attack, but it is related to your long term stress. Apart from that, it also contributes to development of your irrational fears. Now irrational fears means your phobias and also mood swings, and you may experience fits of your depression, anxiety and aggression as well. We can't deny the fact that negative emotion also weaken our immune system. The next topic is coping with stress. So till now we all got an holistic understanding of what stress is, how stress is dangerous, how it affects our immune system. So we can't just let it go without discussing about its solutions. So yes, here's the topic: coping with stress. Now the word coping means a dynamic situation specific reaction to stress. How situation specific? Definitely it requires that in that stressful situation, what should be that accurate or that apt reaction, so that it can actually reduce the stress. Okay, so we can say that coping is a concrete set of responses that is actually intended to reduce the stress and solve the problem properly. Okay, so your Endler and Parker, they have introduced 3 coping strategies. First is task oriented strategy. In task oriented strategy, the person is required to just get information about the stressful situation, understanding alternative course of action, and then try to analyze what can be the possible outcomes or results of it. Then they have to decide priorities and work upon that. For example, you have literally scored passing marks in your favorite subject. I know how it feels. So in that case, definitely you have to understand the issue, that why I am scoring this much in the subject that I like the most. So you have to get the information, what is the nature of the examination, and alternative course of action means you have to change your strategies. Means you have to, like, you can watch YouTube, you can make notes, you can use okay, you can use mind maps, you can use different concept charts so that it will be easier for you to understand and remember. Okay, apart from that, then you have to set up priorities. Like, for now I have to give this subject the topmost priority because I am scoring less, and then you have to work upon that. So in that situation, you are using a task oriented strategy. Then comes your emotion oriented strategy. Here it involves to maintain hope, that you are going to overcome that, or it can also include that nothing can be done, or literally venting out your aggression and frustration, which is called as your catharsis. Venting out means to just show up or to expose your real feelings in that worst situation, means without filters. So for example, all of a sudden you had a relationship issue, you got an health issue, and you also got a financial issue. In that case, you literally felt frustrated and all. So here there can be multiple reaction to that. First, you may just vent out your aggression and frustration to someone, or you can just confront it to yourself, so that you will just let out those feelings out, outside your body. The next can be like, nothing can be done, I have to suffer and let it be types. And the third one can be maintaining hope, that okay, it's fine, I'm going to tackle this issue, I'm going to be optimistic, because life is all about problems. Means that the problems are parts of our life, and we have to understand that living is not having a cakewalk, or having a walk on the bed of roses. There are going to be hurdles, and I need to tackle with that. So here you are using your emotion oriented strategy. The last but not the least, my favorite, avoidance oriented strategy. In avoidance oriented strategy, there is conscious trials to just avoid or to minimize the seriousness of the issue or the seriousness of the stressful situation. There is constant suppression of that anxiety provoking thought. So I have literally felt that I have used avoidance oriented strategies a lot of time in my life. Like whenever I used to just get in stressful situation, I just tend to avoid that and get into something like any kind of hobbies, like I paint, or I talk to myself, I go to terrace, I go for a walk, or I treat to myself and get involved in some eating or trying new cuisines. So yes, this is your avoidance oriented strategy. Lazarus and Folkman, they understood that coping is not something which is related to your individual trait, but it is a cognitive dynamic process. So they described that coping is actually a cognitive and behavioral aspect of ourselves, which when we try to master, tolerate, or reduce the increased amount of internal and external demands of the environment which is created by a stressful situation. So here they introduced two types. First is your problem focused. Now problem focused strategies, they try to attack the problem itself. Okay, so they try to alter the event, they try to make priorities, they try to gain information, and it increases their level of knowledge and understanding. They try to alter their beliefs and commitment. So for example, you have actually made the plan and you are actually serious that I'm going to perform best in this task. So you are making the statement that I have made the plan of action and I am going to do it right now. So here you are using your problem focused strategy. Then comes your emotion focused strategy. Here there is a minimal effort to alter the event, but more efforts to actually limit the amount of emotional disruption. Means you try to limit the emotional reaction that you are going to give to that stressful situation. So if for some reason you got into a very bad fight with your close friend, and even after trying a lot you are unable to patch up, so you made the statement that I did a lot of things to let it out of my system. Like you tried to get into different hobbies, and you tried to take up different hobbies like painting. You tried concentrated on your body, you made new friends. So this is how Lazarus and Folkman understood coping strategies. Then comes the last topic of the video, which is stress management technique. First is relaxation technique. So it is an active skill where it reduces the symptoms of the stress and even decrease the incidence of stress related diseases like your high blood pressure and heart diseases. Then comes your meditation procedure. Meditation procedure includes a thorough concentration where that meditator reaches reaches a different kind of awareness and become unaware of the present scenario. Then comes your biofeedback. Now biofeedback have that direct target to reduce the physiological aspect of the stress, means which is related to your body. Okay, so first then it is accompanied by relaxation measures as well. First they make the patient aware of their psychological functioning, like they make the patient feel like okay, heart rate is there, and then they try to control it in a quiet situation. They try to control that okay, I need to control the heart rate, I don't need to just react in a certain way. And then after controlling it, they are going to transfer that control in their everyday life. In that way they are going to reduce the physiological aspects of the stress. Then comes your creative visualization. Now it is a subjective experience which uses imagery and imagination. So before starting the process, the people are required to have one goal, one realistic goal, because it actually helps them to build confidence. Why it is subjective? Because for me my realistic goal can be something that relaxes me. It can be nature. For someone else it can be their job. For someone else it can be their aim. For someone else it can be traveling. So that's why it is subjective, means it changes from person to person. Then comes your cognitive behavioral techniques. So in cognitive behavioral techniques, they try to inoculate people to the stress, means they try to prepare those people to defend or to fight against, you can say, to tackle this stress. So you can say this as stress inoculation technique, which is developed by Mitch and Baum. It can be a one marker, so please remember that. So here the first step is assessment. They try to discuss the nature of the problem with the client, and they try to see it from the perspective of the client. Okay, then is they try to use the stress reduction techniques like meditation, or it can be relaxation technique. Then is follow through. It's not that okay, the person I have given the lecture and what they were experiencing after that, I don't care. Follow through means they have to keep a check on the client that okay, is that working or not. Okay, last is your exercise. Definitely we can't deny the fact that exercise gives an active outlet to reduce the physiological aspect of the stress. Exercise improves our blood circulation, lowers our blood pressure, improves our health, it improves our immune system. With this, I want to end this video. I hope you liked my explanation. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon for latest notification. If you have any kind of doubt, let me know in the comment section. I would love to clear it all. You can join my Telegram channel to get the notes in PDF format. With this, I sign out.